Hello, everybody. Welcome back again to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
And I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell. And tonight, we'll be talking some news, some trailers that came out. A lot of trailers in the past
Big
2
week.
days. And then some reviews, I believe. Sean
Yeah.
has seen a movie that I haven't seen, so I'm excited to hear his thoughts. So, as far as I know, he's very glowing about it.
You know what's a great thing about this week is I don't even know which film you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
That's why it's a great week.
And we'll probably just, shoot a little bit of box office too, shoot some of the shit, and we'll get out of
And
here.
we're gonna end off with some Bad Batch season 2 overall thoughts. Not necessarily an in-depth review of the entire season, just some of our thoughts. I want to get TJ's thoughts on the end because it's a pretty epic conclusion, I would say, of that season. But that'll be a little bit later on in the show. So, like we do every single week, we're going to start off with what we have been watching. I don't know about you, TJ, but I have had a big week of... I've stuck to what I have said in weeks past. I believe the last 2 weeks I said, I got to stop watching old movies all the time.
Yeah.
I have been making an effort to watch. I've been watching new stuff. Basically, everything that I've been watching has been new. And I've watched a lot of new TV. I've been doing another big deep dive into what I've been missing out on from Apple TV Plus. So I got a couple of things on there that I want to talk about. I do want to dive a little bit into Succession Season 4, Episode 2. Although I did put up my own video on there. So I might just touch on that just a little bit. But the first thing that I'll talk about here... are you clipping out?
I have them ready. I didn't know what you wanted to do specifically.
Let's do a clip out for this one because I did a video on another movie that I will talk about because I got to get you to watch it, which is Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
But whenever you are ready, I will hop in.
Okay. That was poor
I knew
idea.
it was gonna happen to me. I knew it was gonna happen. I literally that's why I was late today. Is I knew it was gonna be Yawn City like always.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go get that Panera. They got this beautiful mango mandarin caffeinated like hot tea. Wakes me up like, every single time, but it is scalding. Which, for those in the know, little Dungeons and Dragons reference there. Hugh Grant is fantastic in that movie. But look out for the hot tea. That's all I'll say. I wanted to give my quick thoughts because I was going to make a video, but it was around the same time that I watched Dungeons and Dragons, and I said, well, I'm already giving that its own video, Succession its own video, so I wanted to save something just to talk about here. But I will say this is a movie that I gave 3.5 stars on Letterboxd, and that is none other than the new Taron Egerton film, Tetris.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So I just, Google got me. Okay, to walk it back a little bit, you and we've in the past shared, don't put us in Netflix jail, but we've shared many of passwords and everything, and I usually use your Apple TV, but my mom has had Apple TV the past few months, so I got that logged in on all my TVs here. That sounds like... whatever. I didn't mean like all my TVs. The 2 TVs and then my phone, basically. And so I was guided by the auto recommendations by Google TV. Fired it up one night. I came home from work. It said Tetris now playing, and I went, all right, let's go for it. I had no idea how long it was. It was 2 hours. I watched it. I started it at like 11:15, maybe 11:30. And I was like, about 20 minutes in, I was like, all right, I got to turn this off. They're talking about like, I want to get Tetris. Like he's going to these different gaming expos and stuff. And it was interesting enough and everything. But really, and I will keep this spoiler free because I do think that this is a movie that everybody should go out and check out. Well, you don't even have to go out. Just, fire up a free trial or fire up your Apple TV Plus and take a look at it. But as soon as things, and this is in the trailer, as soon as things head to the USSR, heads to Soviet Russia, the movie just absolutely takes off. I mean, it is, the only way to describe it is just the thinnest premise possible. It's like Argo, right? It's like one of the thinnest premises possible, blown up to this Tony Gilroy, Andor, Jason Bourne level of political intrigue and all this stuff. And yes, and you see in the trailer, you see like there's like a car chase and the cars are like pixelated and stuff, and all that's in there, and it all works. Like that, and really the movie kind of earns that. There's chapter titles. You know, I'm a big sucker for chapter titles or title cards in a movie. The Menu, one of my favorite movies of last year. This movie does it as well, but they do level title cards like of each chapter of the story of the movie in a very, very kind of cool, intricate way, which just adds to it. But really, it's just a movie that is made well, great performances. Again, it's kind of a light premise. So Taron Egerton, is he playing like, you know, is he playing Hannibal Lecter or one of these like huge, intricately like deep characters? No, but he is playing a businessman who puts his house up for this deal to work. He puts his family up, takes time away from his family. You see all these sacrifices, so you're rooting for this guy, just this kind of everyday guy, and it's all based on exactly who it was. Like, it's not like he's a made up person. It's all based on the real people involved with this stuff. Does it get a little, you know, otherworldly and just kind of like pulpy just to get pulpy towards the end with some of the car chases and stuff that you've seen in the trailer? Yes, but the movie at that point has earned it. Like, it has fully earned it. It has bought into everything. And it is heartwarming, and it is moving, and it is overall interesting. I know so much more about the early days of Nintendo, Tetris obviously specifically, but Nintendo, Sega. There's a lot to do with the Maxwell family, who the same Maxwell family of what's her name, Ghislaine Maxwell of the Epstein.
Giselle?
Yeah. So it deals with her father and her brother, and a lot of the inner workings with that whole family, which is something I had no idea about. Like, just so much interesting stuff. I say it's a very thin premise. I'm talking about the premise of the rights to Tetris, but everything that they use that kind of foot in the door opening to kind of tell you about is so interesting, with all the different rights and everything. Toby Jones is another person that I haven't mentioned yet, who gives a supporting performance in this, which is really, really good. But yeah, it's just a really, really fun time. It's just a great
one question, just Taron Egerton's character, is he like, he wants the rights to sell it to one of the big distributors, or
I will keep that in limbo, because that's the intricacies of what company owns what and what company thinks they own what is a huge part of the movie. But I will just say he is definitely an outsider that Tetris has had mild success in certain countries, and he is wanting in. So Tetris, it's not by any means, it has not had its big launch yet in America and in these other places, but it is a known quantity, and he wants it. So I will say that. But how, who owns what and how it unfolds, that's the whole thing of the movie. That's what you're really there for, of just experiencing that and finding it out. But yeah, really, really, really awesome stuff. And like I said, it's shot beautifully. It literally looks like it's a Tony Gilroy film. Like, and I think that they set out to do that. I think they literally set out to be like, we want this to look like Argo. We want this to look like a Bourne movie. You know, have that kind of Winter Soldier intrigue level stuff. And I think they absolutely knocked it out of the park. So yeah, that is my thoughts on the Tetris movie. But guys, let us know in the comments down below if you're finding this video off by its own. Let us know if you saw the Tetris movie, if you're going to see the Tetris movie, and if you do, what were your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this Tetris video. All right. Let's see. What do I want to talk about next? All right, I'm going to give you my pitch for Dungeons & Dragons, because I asked you if you were going to see it, and you said it's probably one that I will wait on.
Real quick, is this will this, do you think, be easily accessible when it comes to streaming? What is the distributor?
It's Paramount, yeah. So it'll be on Paramount Plus. Yeah. But that being said, I think that Paramount has shown us that when they know they have a good movie, it's no 45-day window. like Top Gun. You know,
Top Gun,
that's an exception because it made $1.5 billion, but
I thought they would have announced Scream 6 is coming already, and they haven't.
Yeah, that's a good example too. Yeah, it still hasn't because they know now. Paramount, we've been talking about it, I feel like for years now, ever since the first Sonic movie. Paramount was like on death's door in 2018. Like it was like down and out, and they have just been boom, 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 and all these successes. I'm like, damn, that's Paramount too. Like when this movie started, I didn't even like think about it, and then it started with the stars going across, and I was like, god damn, man, they are just like killing it. And I will say they are killing it again with this movie. I put my video up on the channel, so if you want my direct thoughts straight out of the theater, it's up there for you guys. But holy crap, the best way to describe this, and I saw this in a tweet, but it's really, I had this thought, and it's the only way to describe it. Whenever anybody says, how come Hollywood doesn't make movies like X anymore, this is X. This is the movie that, I mean, it is. I don't know if you've seen on Twitter or anything, but John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, who wrote and directed this, last thing they wrote and directed together was Game Night. The last thing they wrote together was Spider-Man Far From Home. So, I mean, they are definitely... and then, obviously, John Francis Daley is one of the kids was the main character in Freaks and Geeks. So, you know, he's no stranger to Dungeons & Dragons, and they did a little cool video with him, Martin Starr, and Sam Levine to promote this movie, which was cool. But they absolutely nailed this. I mean, the comedy is fresh. And I mean, what's one of the things that everybody says, what is one of the single greatest line deliveries of all time? It's Jesse Plemons doing the, how can that be profitable for Frito-Lay? That kind of humor from Game Night is all over this movie, and it is even fresher than it was in Game Night. Whereas some of these other blockbusters, like, you know, Ant-Man and stuff like this, some of the humor in it is just like, oh man, like this is like 10, 15-year-old comedy. This stuff feels like it is like irreverent and dry and fresh and new. Everybody in the cast is just giving it their all. Michelle Rodriguez is fantastic in this movie. Shows that she is being absolutely wasted in those Fast movies of being like the 5th or 6th person on the call sheet over there. She can definitely hold her own. And Chris Pine is just like, where have you been? If you can just keep doing stuff like this on a consistent level, you are easily the best Chris. And I mean that like not even a question. Like, I mean, I always thought that would like when you start, there you go. 2. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, what was his name? I saw the character's name is like, it's like Nate Brash or something. Yeah. It's like something like that. I was laughing at my friend at work. I was like, there's no way that that's genuinely his character's name. That's insane. But no, this movie is the genuine article. I mean, it is fantastic. It is fun.
Tyler Rake.
What is it?
Tyler Rake.
Tyler Rake. Yeah, there you go. What a hero. I want my Tyler Rake Funko Pop set. For Extraction too.
Well, just real quick, speaking of this movie, that I just thought was a funny thing I saw on TikTok was he was doing press for it, and I think he was on some radio program or whatever, I think in England or whatever, and the host was like introducing him, and she said based on the novel that has a sequel. Yeah, and he goes, this is based on a novel, and then all the comments were like, oh boy, this fucking interviewer should have done their research on Dungeons and Dragons. Because at first I was like, wait a minute, there's a Dungeons and Dragons novel? And then everybody in the comments was like, no, it's just a game. I was like, okay.
That's so stupid. Like, there are like tie-in books and stuff, but that video was hard to watch. And his face, he's just like, he's like looking over at his assistant, like, novel? What? Like, it reminds me of that video when Henry Cavill's like, your source of information is Wikipedia. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely fantastic movie. You got to go see it. I know you and Danielle are gonna love it.
I'm interested. Everybody, again, a lot of the reviews have been great, and you know, I think it's doing really well.
And it's a theatrical experience because it is the visuals. That's the other thing. The humor is original and inventive. The visuals they use. I guess light spoilers. There's a portal gun like element of this movie, and like the way that they use the portals is as inventive as like the Portal video game. I mean, it's not actually a portal gun, but you can find out what it is in the movie. But the way that they use portals and the magic and the way that they use combat, and there's heist elements that are shot beautifully in camera. And so much of it is practical, and it all just looks so fantastic. It's mostly real sets. I mean, obviously when they're in a huge Coliseum with 20,000 people in the stands, there's not actually a huge Coliseum with 20,000 people in the stands. But that being said, anytime they do use CG or green screen sets or anything like that, it all looks fantastic. I mean, the movie just has a great look to it. But definitely check it out, because
and you don't need to know anything,
great.
Right?
Not at all. Yeah,
I didn't think so.
I had somebody, one of the people that works at the theater that I am at, was like, I want to see it, but I don't really know anything, so I get, I'll just check it, whatever. And then somebody I heard made the great analogy. They're like, you need to know as much about Dungeons and Dragons going into this as the $2 billion worth of people knew about Lord of the Rings going into those movies.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like like, you know what I mean? There's a Chris Pine narrated opening that kind of fills you in, but they don't go like, this is a magical world and there's this people and there's druids and there's that. It's like,
but then again, it's like everybody's game is different, so it's not like there's some congruent story that So,
and then it is
really cool.
definitely a thing too that it's one of those things that you don't need to know anything, but if you know anything, there'll be cool moments for you.
Yeah.
Because like there was this one shot where you know how Dungeons and Dragons, they always have this like beautiful artwork and stuff. There was this shot where the camera kind of is an overhead shot, and the camera pans past something that's happening on like a ledge. And the thing that's happening on the ledge, I recognized, and I don't play Dungeons and Dragons, I recognized it instantly as a painting that I've seen of artwork of Dungeons and Dragons. So like there's little things like that are woven in, and species and all this stuff. But yeah, absolutely fantastic movie. But jump over to you. What's some of the stuff that you have been watching, and then I'll talk about some of the TV I've been watching.
Man, I haven't watched really any movies. I watched one, which I'll get to in a second. So I bought Resident Evil 4, so I've been playing that a little bit.
Oh, there you go. That's
only
the
on chapter
remake?
5. The remake, yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what though, I scare very easily, and this game is pretty much proof of that. There's not many jump scares, I would say, but like, I walked into a cabin in like very beginning of the game, and I like opened the door, and I was just like looking straight, and I like turned the camera, and there's a dude standing there, and I like jumped. I was like, you got me. But yeah, it's been fun so far. Caught up on Bad Batch as well as Ted Lasso and Mandalorian the past week, and then I watched getting back on my Attack on Titan grind. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, so I started back up on that a few days ago.
Now is that currently in a season?
It is the last like part, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Is coming out now, or I'm not sure exactly when, next few weeks or so, but it's about to end. And I don't know anything that's gonna happen. But Brandon really like a lot of people love the show. Brandon loves the show. And he always is telling me that it's like peak TV. So, watching that. Watched WrestleMania day 1 on Saturday. I went to Brandon's. I did not watch day 2. I went to Brandon's with Travis, and great time. I watched wrestling when I was younger, I'd say. Probably, 10 to 12, maybe that age, I'd say. And there's still like a decent amount of people that like when I was growing up were wrestling. So that was cool to see. But I had a good time. Now, as good of a time like where I'm like, oh, I need to watch this every week. No, like I can't watch Monday Night Raw for 2 hours. Week? Yeah, it's Monday and Friday.
All year hours.
Long? Yeah. From what unless
year?
They change the schedule.
Oh my god!
WrestleMania also.
Listen,
do you know how long WrestleMania has gotten? I didn't know. I had no.
It's like 6
hours.
First of all,
it's like 6 hours both days. It's like 12 full hours.
Oh
And apparently
my
they do a
God.
show before they do like a NXT, like that's like
Mhm.
kind of the ones that are like up and coming.
Mhm.
They do a show before those days, I believe. So that's like they're like
I've
full
seen
like
Fighting with
full
My
days.
Family. I know what NXT
Yeah,
is.
there you go. So that was fun.
But
to
was it good?
watch.
It was fun,
Yeah,
enjoyable.
yeah,
And
I had
everything?
fun.
I
Day
heard
one
that night two
really good.
was more lackluster than night one.
That's what
why
I
I
heard,
asked
too.
you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
But that
see the
was cool.
Pope's Exorcist? Didn't the Pope's Exorcist show up in character, or was that on night two?
I think that was night 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's incredible viral marketing to have Russell Crowe show up as the Pope's
Yeah.
Exorcist
Yeah.
at WrestleMania.
But the one movie I did watch was Resident Evil, the first one, not the
There you
most
go.
recent one, but the first one that came out in 2002. Terrible, awful, not a good movie. My plan is to watch all of them, and then do a little ranking. Right now, Resident Evil's bottom of the list, and I think they just get worse from here. So that should be fun.
He said
Michelle
the first one is awful, but it's the bottom
Michelle-
of the list.
Michelle Rodriguez is in it. Didn't know that. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, she not for long,
Well-
maybe, right? Or
No, she's in the whole thing actually.
okay.
And then they get you. They're like, oh, she's alive. They got the antidote. Then you turn around and she's a zombie. So it's like, oh. But there is one part before I think it's before she gets bit. They're like down underground because that's where like the lab is and everything.
Mhm.
And her
In
and this other guy
Raccoon City.
in Raccoon City. Yep.
There you go.
And her and this other guy, they're both like cops or they're part of this government agency, whatever. I don't know. And there's like one zombie walking around. It's before they know kind of what's going on. And they go, oh, we got a survivor here. And like the thing turns around and it's just like this person whose face is all like messed up and everything. I was like, that's clearly a zombie. Like that is not, they're like, oh, a survivor. We got to help them. It's like, no, they're clearly gone. They're trying to kill you. Like they're literally attacking. And it's like, oh man, this lady's crazy. It's like, yeah, because she's infected with the T virus. It was crazy. It was ridiculous.
So are you gonna work your way all the way up to the
bad.
Netflix show as well?
I don't
with
think
the
I'm gonna
dance
watch the
sequence?
show, but I'm gonna watch the Netflix. Was it a Netflix movie, or was it a different?
No,
studio
it was
that did it?
in like the last 2 years it was the Netflix show with the dumb dance scene and Lance Reddick, and then there was the movie with the guy from Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, I think I'm
Welcome
gonna
to
watch the
Raccoon
movie,
City.
but I don't think I'm gonna watch the show because
I heard that one was good. I heard the movie was good.
Oh, I heard it was bad.
Oh, well, maybe,
So,
I don't know. Maybe I meant
yeah.
I heard that it was good for a Resident
Right.
Evil movie. Maybe that was
And,
what
and
it
I've
was.
never played. Again, this is my first experience with Resident Evil as far as games go. The fourth one, and I know some of the stories. You know, I know there's a lot of like nitty gritty and stuff in the first few. But as far as I can tell, I don't think like the movie, it like takes things, but it doesn't like fully go through like the games.
Does it? Oh, okay.
So,
So
but yeah,
one of the better video game adaptations, you would say.
I would disagree.
curse is
I've never
over.
seen Assassin's Creed, so I don't know. Assassin's Creed could be better
Ooh.
than this, or
That
even
was a real
Warcraft. I've
good
never seen
movie.
that either. But yeah, you'll have those rankings made in a few weeks if I can muster up the courage. I think there
There you go.
is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I mean, I guess
6,
there's
5, 6 Resident Evil
Six.
movies. Yeah,
Whew.
that's including the most recent one.
Jeez. Wow. What's the one that has like 1 million? Underworld. That's the one that has like 1 million movies, right? With
Underworld, yes,
Mila
yes.
Jovovich.
No, Mila Jovovich is Resident Evil.
Oh, who is
Underworld
the one?
is Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale's an actress?
She is, yes.
Oh wow. I don't know. I've heard that name like my whole life, Kate Beckinsale.
Right.
I think she dated
Yeah.
Pete Davidson.
She did, yes. Yep.
Was she married to Tom Brady? Or was that Giselle?
Oh, I don't know about that. That was
Bundchen.
Giselle Bundchen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I got no idea. But I've literally never seen or interacted with anything that Kate Beckinsale's ever done. So, good for her though for doing all those movies. All right, so I will say, and I know I've talked about this app in weeks prior, but I'm really trying to knuckle down and dedicate myself to the serialized app which is the TV app. And I have watched quite a few things. Like I said, going on. Sorry, I'm just kind of trying to understand how this app works. There we go. So I caught up on all the Mandalorians. I put up a couple reviews, at least a star rating for every one of those episodes. But if you do want to follow me, anybody out there on the serialized app, if you had it, just at NAESKNOM1, which is my same at as on Letterboxd. I am writing a little. I'm not trying to write massive tomes of reviews and stuff, but I am going to use this app. I'm going to try and write a little bit more for reviews and then try to write a little bit more on my Letterboxd reviews as well. But I've reviewed Succession Season 4, Episode 1, and then Succession Season 4, Episode 2, which I will just talk again just quickly here about it. I did put up my quick 2 or 3 minute video on it right after watching the episode, but the show continues to just be absolutely incredible this year. I'm really firmly Team Logan right now, which is not where I thought I was going to be. I feel like Brian Cox has really just completely stepped it up, which is, sounds insane to say given his previous work on this show. But I think that he's just stepped it up to this whole other level. He's at a Jordan Belfort Leo level in this. And in this episode, there's really a straight up Jordan Belfort moment. Which, I was ready to scream. I was like, yeah, let's go. I was pumped up to work at ATN. And I really like what they've been doing with Alan Ruck this year with Connor. I think that Alan Ruck is really getting some big time to shine, and I hope that continues in this season. The next episode, I believe, is called Connor's Wedding, so I'm going to assume that Khan is going to have even more of a bigger role to play coming soon here, at least in the first half of the season. I imagine it's going to be a heavy focus on Connor, and then when it's really in the end game of the show, they're going to probably focus back on the other three.
Quick question as far as Succession goes, me being a novice. I've only watched 2 episodes, so, we're going through this really slowly. Hopefully we can pick up the pace, Danielle and I. But through 2 episodes, and I just want to know if, I don't know if there's a right and wrong person to like, but I feel like I shouldn't my favorite character is Roman, and I feel like I shouldn't like him as much as I do.
Who's your least favorite character?
My least favorite, it'd probably be what's his name? Hold on. Where is he? He's down on the billing list. Kendall.
Really?
I like him. He's just kind of I don't know. I think he he's very big complainer. I like Greg because Greg doesn't really know what's going. Oh no, I'm sorry. Actually, no. My least favorite character is Tom. Tom, hate him. Can't do it.
Let's just stick with it because I think that all of those opinions will change 18 different times. Right. Basically, the one true. What am I trying to say? The one guiding light. As long as you recognize that Shiv is a terrible person.
Pretty terrible.
Good. Well, I'm just saying. Listen, man, Shiv. It's been a complex road with Siobhan. I mean, first of all, Sarah Snook is absolutely incredible and deserves all the accolades and everything. And not to say it's easier for her, but it is a heavily male-dominated cast. So, to my mathematical senses, I would hope it would be easier for her to secure some sort of Emmy nomination, hopefully a win, given that it's the last season and everything like that. Because me not being happy with not me disliking the character's choices, only because it's written so well, has nothing to do with her performance. Sarah Snook is fantastic on the show, but Siobhan is she's kind of this unknown quantity for season 1, and then in season 2 really is feeling herself, oversteps, has this what's his name, Sisyphus fall from grace, recovers, you think you're on a better path, and then boom, right back in the shit. And then season 4 one of the first things I texted my friend who's a big Succession guy is I said Shiv is back on her bullshit. And it's just one of those characters that she just can't help herself. But man, yeah, I mean, if you can stick with it and get back on the horse, it is well worth the journey. And it's only, I mean, I say only, it's 40 episodes because it'll be, now, well, there's only 2 of the 4th season, but when it's over, it's only 40 episodes. But it is fantastic. I mean, it's just the best character work on TV, long running TV right now, that's still on because Better Call Saul's over. But, it's things like that, Ted Lasso, Barry, Better Call Saul, stuff like that. That just really focuses on the characters and is so fantastic. But that's it for Succession season 4 talk. Just really, really loving the season so far. But I did take a look at a couple of other things on Apple TV Plus, like I said, and we're both going to talk about Ted Lasso in just a minute here. But I did go through and I watched the first 2 episodes now of Shrinking with Jason Segel, Jessica Williams, and Harrison Ford. Don't know why I blanked on his name. I'll say this. Jessica Williams, absolutely fantastic. She played the teacher in Fantastic Beasts 3. She was like the newer one that was kind of hanging out with Jacob and all that stuff. She is fantastic in this show. Jason Segel's fantastic in the show, as he always is whenever he does this kind of towing the dramatic comedy line and everything. And then Harrison Ford is really great. He is definitely one of those people that, in the first episode, you're like, oh, okay, so he's just going to kind of pop up here and there. He is a series regular through and through. Like, he is in the show. This is not one of those, like, he's cashing the paycheck to pop in every once and again. Like, he is a major part of the show, and I just love the dynamic. His name is Paul. I love the dynamic between him and Jason Segel's character already. This kind of coworker slash mentor-mentee slash father-son, pseudo-father-son dynamic that they have, I think is really refreshing and everything like that. I think the show has been fantastic. Another show I watched, which I was worried about watching because I really, I hate to be, par for the course here, but I'm really not a big James Corden fan. But they have Carpool Karaoke, the series on Apple TV Plus, which I had never seen. And again, when I opened Apple TV Plus, it auto-recommended an episode for me, which was Alan Cumming and Brian Cox from Succession, obviously, and also a little X-Men 2 reunion with Nightcrawler and Stryker there. But I watched that, and it was just like 18 minutes of them. So the reason I was worried, because I thought that James Corden would be in it. He's not actually in the show. It's just, he just produces it, and it's just the 2 celebrities, or sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's a whole family, but it's just them in the car singing, answering questions, giving trivia to each other about their careers. This one, obviously, since they were both in X-Men, they talked about X-Men a little bit, talked about Scotland because they're both Scottish. Just a really interesting, like, 20-minute conversation with these 2 guys, and as an extra treat, you can see Logan Roy singing "Tell Me What You Want" by the Spice Girls. So that was really fantastic, I will say that. And then as soon as he ends it, he goes, "Oh, thank fucking God that's over. That was the only thing I was worried about today." It was fantastic. Last thing up that I watched, which I am going to give a big recommend on, is also on Apple TV Plus, and that is somebody that I've been quietly rooting for, and I feel like a lot of people have been quietly rooting for, is Chris O'Dowd and his new show, The Big Door Prize, which is on Apple TV Plus right now. It has very much vibes of The Good Place, Upload, which is an Amazon Prime show. It's actually, both of those shows are both about the afterlife. This show isn't about the afterlife. It's about your life, but it's basically this Twilight Zone-esque, but it's just one weird thing happens, which is this machine just gets delivered to this store in the middle of this town, and it tells people what your life potential is. So it'll print out a little card, and it says, you're destined to be a motorcycle star. You're destined to be an archerer. And people take these cards, and all of a sudden they can do these things. And Chris O'Dowd's character, who's a teacher, he's, through the episode, you slowly learn, like with a lot of these shows, of course, he is depressed. There's a lot more to him. It unpeels these layers and everything like that. But then his card says teacher. So the whole thing is he gives this assignment that he goes, I want you to write in 2 columns. Screw these cards. I want you to write in 2 columns. What are you going to be? And then one of his teachers says to him, what are you going to be? And then obviously you're, as an audience, left thinking, this guy thinks, well, I already am what I am. I'm a teacher. And then so when she asks him that, it's like, damn, he's obviously being challenged. So then he thinks about, this is just for the first episode, he thinks about it because he's been hesitant to take the card and everything, but it's eating at him because his student said that. So he's like, maybe there is something more out there for me. And then he gets his card and it just says teacher. And so that's where I left off. Is just him realizing that his life potential is what he's already doing. So he's not going to get, these cool abilities or whatever. But it's just this very intricate, very quirky kind of show that, again, it looks beautiful. It's that Apple TV Plus quality. And it's just a really interesting premise. And then something, I started a little bit of the second episode, which it's all set within the same town and everything, but the episodes shift perspective. So the first episode is from Chris O'Dowd's perspective, then the second one is from his wife's perspective. So I'll be interested to see how that kind of goes around. There's only 2 episodes up right now. I think that it drops on Wednesdays as well, so I think there's a 3rd episode coming out tonight. But that was really, really good. But yeah, that is everything that I've been watching this week. Did you have anything else that you've been watching?
No, that was it for me, unfortunately. Definitely going to make a big push to get out this weekend and see Super Mario, as well as Air. I want to try and see. Is that this week or next week?
This week as well, yeah. Right? Okay, they're both Wednesday too, so be careful.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it'll really catch up with you. And then I believe Paint, the new Owen Wilson, Bob Ross movie, comes out on Friday the 7th, and then Renfield is the 14th. So, as many blockbusters as... Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like the more I see of Renfield, the less I'm interested in Renfield. See it. Yeah, because people are like, everybody's like, how can you think that this campy movie with Nick Cage playing Dracula is going to be bad? And it's like, because the movie's not about Dracula. Like, if that's just what the movie was, sure, sign me up. But it looks like this weird buddy cop thing with Nick Holt and Awkwafina, 2 people that I love.
Really good reviews.
I know, yeah. So we'll see. But pivoting over here for a second, speaking of Mario, we got the tomato reveal today. 48% with 100 verified reviews. How do you feel about that? Does that give you confidence? Do you think it's just, people being a little too harsh on it? What do you think?
I think we're being a little bit too harsh right now. It's actually 55% with 83 reviews, it looks like. So it went up. Yeah. I don't, it's again, it's aimed towards kids. Mario is, it's a kid's game, I guess, per se. But I'm excited. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'm pessimistically excited, I guess. Again, I think we both agree. Really like Sonic and Sonic 2. Really liked Detective Pikachu. So I'd say we're on a pretty good roll here. And if this works, I think Nintendo, they're probably going to want to do another one. And again, I think they need to expand more on the properties that they have because they have such good IP. Mm-hmm. I remember watching The Legend of Zelda, this like concept trailer that somebody came up with when I was younger, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool as a movie. Obviously, it was never made into a movie, but they have that. We have Metroid. We have, you could do anything with any of these characters. If you want to make a Luigi's Mansion movie, I would definitely go see that hands down right away.
That feels like that's just so ready for a movie. I mean, because it's like Mario is like, and Chris Pratt says this in basically every interview where he's like, you are Mario. Like Mario doesn't really have a personality because you are him. Whereas the Luigi's Haunted Mansion stuff, that actually has a through line and a story to it that I think would be so easy to adapt if this is a big hit.
Right. And I think my most pessimistic thing was probably just like Chris Pratt as the voice.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure, after a little bit of watching it, I'll just be like, it is what it is. Even when Mario talks, he's not, like, in the games, he's not saying much. It's not like he's, like, having full-on conversation with other characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm not, like, getting my hopes up. But then again, you have to remember, again, in every game, mostly every single Mario game, it's the same thing. It's just, Peach was captured, gotta go rescue her. Or Luigi was captured, gotta go rescue him.
Mm-hmm.
Just anything like that. So if you're probably looking for just, like, fun, this is probably the movie for you. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I saw some of the out of the theater reactions that some people were posting, some of the social media reactions and everything. Not to single him out, but I think a critic that both of us are aware of, William Bibbiani, very harsh, opinionated critic, I would say, but in a fair way. Like, he's not one of these mean-spirited guys, but he did not enjoy it, needless to say. But then somebody like Christian Harloff, who both of us watch, who's a dad, some of this stuff, he said he had a great time. So
I watched almost all Stuckman's review, Chris Stuckman, and he really liked it.
Yeah, I saw that too, and he really liked it. And I don't know if I haven't watched it yet, but I don't know if maybe Dan Murrow has seen it. Which, by the way, I did want to take a quick moment, not just because of Dan Murrow, but he does live there. If you can, go over to the Arkansas Food Bank or Arkansas, Red Cross donations and everything with the awful tornadoes that went through Arkansas and a bunch of other stuff in the middle of the country this week, which has just been terrible. Just a quick shout out to that. But so he said, I don't know if he had seen it yet, because he said in his video yesterday, he put out this great video about just the kind of whirlwind month that DC and Marvel have been having. But he talked about how literally, like, the tornado missed his house by like 100 feet. Like it's crazy. He was like, my friends' houses and everything, got hit by it and stuff like that. It's just awful. But but Mario, switching gears back again to Mario, I think I'll definitely enjoy it. It sounds like a movie that I'll enjoy, because you could say those same criticisms about Detective Pikachu and about Sonic. Is it Shakespeare? No, but it's a hell of a good time and great performances, and the movie looks great. And that's one thing that we knew from the trailers to begin with, is they nailed the translating Mario, the aesthetic and all the elements and everything to the big screen. So I'm excited to see it. I'm even more probably excited to see Air, I would say, because people are just cannot get enough raving about that movie. Sounds like Matt Damon is a shoo-in for Best Actor off of it, which is crazy to say this early in the year, but a lot of people are saying it, so I'm excited to kind of dive into that as well. But a lot of good stuff coming up in April. But let's kind of transition over to, do you want to tackle some of these trailer talk first, or some of this news talk? Because we got a lot of
I want to talk about some of these trailers.
Go for it. And also, I will say, I want to take a look at the Barbie one, because I have not watched the Barbie trailer yet, but all the other ones I have seen.
Okay, yeah. First, let's just talk about the Blue Beetle one real quick. What did you think of that one?
One thing that I was happy with is that my work schedule allowed me, I got up trailer reactions for all these major trailers, and then we'll clip out the Barbie one too. So my thoughts are up there. I really, really enjoyed it. I think, does the movie look like it's going to be the most incredible DC movie ever made? Maybe not, but I think that Xolo Maridueña, who obviously Miguel from Cobra Kai, I have been watching grow as an actor and a performer for the past 5, almost 6 years at this point with Cobra Kai. So I'm really excited for him to get this huge break, because and also he's just perfect for it. Because literally Jaime Reyes is Blue Beetle is in essence, it's a Spider-Man-like character, not the Ted Kord version. Obviously, that's a more, seasoned, Hank Pym type character.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a younger character. He's got the quips. He's kind of like a DC Spider-Man equivalent. So I think it's perfect casting for him. I think that George Lopez looks, I'll say, interesting in the trailer. I did like his line about Batman at the end, although I don't know if I want to repeat it here because everybody's losing their mind about it online.
He's a fascist. He says Batman
there you go.
is a fascist.
Yeah, and some people you can go up on Twitter and find some really insecure reactions to that. But I think overall the positives, because really that's the only negative, is I'm just thinking it was written for HBO Max, it was shot for HBO Max.
Yeah,
it's everything in post that they went, hey, you're going theatrical, here's more money, make it theatrical. Focusing on that stuff now, holy shit, the suit looks incredible. The CG, where there is CG on the suit, I thought looked really, really good. And when he flies up into space, I thought it looked really, really good. But what do you think about the kind of also that transformation scene? It reminded me of like Alien or Venom.
That was terrifying.
Yeah, it's like body horror.
Like his skin's like getting burnt off or whatever.
Yeah, it looked like Cronenberg like body horror stuff.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I know absolutely nothing about this character. Mm-hmm. And I was gonna watch it on HBO Max. I don't know if I'm gonna rush out to see it, but I definitely want to, give it a shot. Mm-hmm. Don't know. I don't know if do we really know where this fits and everything?
According to James Gunn, this is the first movie in the DCU, in the straight up new universe. Yeah. This is the first movie. Now I'll say on that too, real quick. I know you can see my screen. I don't have it showing for them, but
right.
Let's see, where is it? So right here. You get the Warner Brothers logo,
mm-hmm.
which, by the way, I don't think anybody's talked about. I think this is one of the first trailers that has the new and improved Warner Brothers logo that went back to the Shield thing. But then it just says DC. Wouldn't you think that if this is the first movie in the DCU, it would say DC Studios? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, I want the first... Now, granted, I will give you the first Iron Man, everything up to Age of Ultron, doesn't say Marvel Studios. It says Marvel Entertainment, and then it says Marvel Studios with the old style. So I'll give you that. The logos can change and everything. But if this is truly supposed to be the very first movie in the new universe, I would have liked maybe a little DCU logo at the beginning of it. You know what I mean? Like when you give me a trailer for the Batman Part 2 or even sooner the Joker 2, slap an Elseworlds logo on there. If you're making this big distinction at the corporate level, make the distinction in the trailers just to make it a little easier for people to understand. Because like you said, do we know where this is set? And according to James Gunn, we do, but you wouldn't know it based on the trailer.
Yeah, I think I think that is definitely a fair thing. Again, maybe when the movie comes out, they'll have that distinction in there. Mm-hmm. We don't know yet. But yeah, I'm intrigued. Again, like I said, I'm not gonna rush out to see it. If it was coming to HBO Max like right away, I'd probably, watch it in the first few days.
Yeah.
But definitely interested. Again, like you said, that whole kind of transformation, I was like, that is something I did not expect to see in this movie. Yeah. I thought it would just be like some suit or something that he puts on or whatever. Mm-hmm. I thought oh my god, just talking about the trailer real quick. The remix they did of this Lil Uzi song.
Oh, the song?
Awful.
I thought that was.
It's awful. I hated it.
I don't know the song to begin with.
And the song's, the song's kind of it's very.
I just wanna.
It's very dancey. It's just kind of like the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But I thought this remix was terrible.
See, I
just didn't think it fit the vibe of the trailer.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that. I liked it, but I'm not familiar with the song. All I know is that the little part that they use over and over again in the trailer from TikToks and stuff. That's literally all I know it from.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And I liked it, I'll say I liked the little music sting of it at the end with the logo, more so than just, like, playing over the beginning of it. Felt like we were setting up, like, a Bad Boys trailer, which, and also that's another interesting thing is that I think it's Palermo? No, Palmero City, whatever it says. It's a new fictional DC city. So I believe in the comics, he shares a fictional city. I think it might be Coast City. So I think he shares his city with Green Lantern. And James Gunn said that when they decided to set it in the DCU and move it over to theatrical, that was one of the first things they did, was give it its own city and its own vibe and everything. So I'm wondering if the movie off the bat maybe just was set in Miami, because it definitely like gives that Florida-y like vibe. But yeah, I'm just not familiar with the song enough. But you know, I guess if you think it was didn't fit the vibe, I guess, you know, I could see where you would think that. But yeah, I think it looks interesting. But I don't think that this is like a holy shit like 2007 Iron Man trailer. Like, we're starting a universe, baby. Like, I'd like a little bit more of a grand opening, I guess, to the DCU. But, you know, we got to wait and see. August, not that far away, 4 months away, which is insane that August is only 4 months away. But that's where we are. Yeah, something that's a little bit sooner, though. Let's pivot over. Let's talk about this guy first. Our friend from, could you believe the first movie is 5 years ago? And that is Miles Morales himself. Spider-Man is back with a brand new trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We got amazing visuals, deeper look at the story, first look at who's supposedly the villain. And I'm just now noticing that the description says the Spider War is coming. Get excited. So that's interesting. I didn't even see that. But yeah, we get a look at all these spider people seemingly after Miles, chasing Miles. We even got a direct No Way Home shout out to Doctor Strange in this trailer, which was like, what? What are your thoughts on this? And then of course just the visuals and everything about this, and the emotion is all great too.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good trailer. I think every trailer that they put out for either of these movies was awesome. Love the song they're using. They're reusing the song from the first one, which is really cool. In the trailer at least. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, you say when you say villain, who are you talking about?
So Jason, oh my god, wow, I just bumped my microphone and dropped the water. Jason Schwartzman is playing the Spot, who's the white guy from the beginning of the trailer, and I mean literally white with the black spots all over him. And they have described him as the main villain of these next two movies. So, but then this trailer very much puts Miguel O'Hara, Oscar Isaac's character, Spider-Man 2099, very much tease him up to be the villain. But I'm thinking maybe that'll be some trickery, making us think that things are in the third act when really it might be second act stuff. I think this movie is going to be way bigger than anyone is thinking. And when they say in the description here, the Spider War is coming, that makes me think that. I really think that this movie is going to be way bigger in scope than really any of us are expecting. I think there's going to be a lot to it that I think they're purposely trying to throw us. But I will say, one shot has me very worried, and that is this shot right here. Mm-hmm. Because, which is showing his dad falling, and the trailer is doing a lot of saying, it's a lot of Spider-Man 2099 saying, the people that make sacrifices for us, he says most of us wouldn't even be here if it weren't for Uncle Ben. That's the main line. And I like that they're saying, a Spider-Man or a Spider-Person needs a sacrifice to push them in the right direction, which is really syncs up with the whole message of No Way Home, because No Way Home was, we now kind of realized once. Can I spoil No Way Home? Do you think we're safe?
I think it's okay.
Okay, spoilers for No Way Home. When May dies, that is, after 6 movies, that's the beginning of Tom Holland being Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Is you need that catalyst event. Yes, Tony died. Yes, he's lost other people, presumably Uncle Ben even. But it's really when that person in their life dies and makes the sacrifice. And I am worried that Miles thinks that Uncle Aaron, the Prowler, was his person, but I'm worried that this movie is going to take his dad from him, and that we are getting Miles trying to undo that. That's what I took away from the trailer, just pure speculation. But did you feel that same way, or did you take different interpretation of it? Like, why do you think Spider-Man 2099 is going after Miles, and all the Spider people are going after Miles?
Right. I mean, that would be my thinking. Again, just maybe we pick up, obviously, find life, kind of going as it is, and then, like you said, he loses his dad, and then maybe, or maybe he's already on those adventures with Gwen, and then at some point during the movie that happens, and then he tries to make that decision, and obviously, Oscar Isaac's Spider-Man is like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And maybe it just affects everybody else in some way, shape, or form. I don't really know. But one thing I did want to talk to you about, because I see you have the Pan India release trailer up, which this trailer starts with, I believe, a quote from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Right? Correct?
See, this is the thing. I can't find it. I can't find it again. Hang on. No, because I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hang on. Just give me a second. I might have to switch to my other account. Just keep talking about it, but I'll pull it up.
It starts with a quote from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and then it kind of zooms in on his suit. And then I don't know if there's a quote from Andrew Garfield as well, but it goes to his suit, and then it goes to Tom Holland's suit. So then that had everybody like thinking when this trailer came out, it was like, oh, like they're going to be in the movie. What are your thoughts on that? If that is true, I don't think that necessarily means they're going to be in the movie, but I mean, I feel like if you're trying to tease that they will be, this is a very good way to do that.
Every day I wake up knowing.
And I'm sure people will probably be mad if they're not being in it.
More enemies.
It's an Andrew quote, and then I think a Tom one. Yeah. Yeah, so it starts out, it's got a Toby quote, it's got him being carried by the people on the subway, then it's got that beautiful shot of Andrew where it's the fade in from black, and then it's the Far From Home suit being built, and then it says, but on June 1st, this Spider-Man, meaning Miles, faces his greatest test. So, I don't think, but then also, we got to talk about, too, there is the definitive direct shout out to No Way Home in this, of Miguel O'Hara saying, and, you're not getting into this club, and don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and that little nerd from Earth 199999, who is, for people in the know, that is the MCU's designation in the comics. So I don't know. I mean, I think first of all, knowing how, what's the right word? How tender the rights situation is, I think just the fact that they could use the name Doctor Strange in this trailer, something's going on. I mean, they're cooking something behind the scenes. You know what I mean? The next movie's called Beyond the Spider-Verse. They directly shout out No Way Home. The trailer, the international trailer, some versions of it, starts with clips of the main three Spider-Men. We just got the main three Spider-Men in a movie together. So we know that all that's possible. And then if you want to dip a toe into some of the scoop game, some of the reporting game, all we know is there are live action elements to this movie. Now, what that means, nobody's going to elaborate on. I think that they would be killed by Sony, and more specifically by Amy Pascal if they did. And they all these characters inhabit the same world with Venom and the Avengers and everything. That I love that clip of Kevin Feige, and then he just gets the laser eyes of like, what did you just say? I think something's happening. I genuinely I think at the very least Tom is in this movie. What do you think? Do you think that Tom is in this movie? I think he is. I really think that they're building up to some big event here. And I think that, I think it could be referenced in, I think that if he does come into this movie, I think that then that can be referenced in Spider-Man 4. Like, I think that there's a lot that they can do here that they're really going to take advantage of. But what do you think? I mean, do you think there's a chance that we get all three of them, one of them, Doctor Strange? Is there a chance that Benedict Cumberbatch shows up in this? I think there was just a report today that I think they were saying that they were looking at Benedict Cumberbatch to come in Deadpool 3, which is, again, dealing with the multiverse and stuff and in the Fox universe. So, I don't know. What do you think? I think anything's on the table here.
I think there's definitely a chance. I think maybe it's more likely that they show up in the second one or part 2.
Beyond the Spider-Verse?
Which is possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think maybe... Do I think they put those kind of quotes in that trailer to, add something to the importance of maybe, Miles having his own story and building something his own way? I think that's very possible, and maybe they're just not in the movie, or they're hinting to that they are in the movie. I think that's also possible. But I thought it was interesting that it's in the international trailer and not in the U.S. one.
Yeah, and I wonder why.
Thing, I guess.
Yeah. But also, you always have those different versions. There's always with these studio trailers. They're like, what was for Mandalorian? Remember, they were like, oh, but in the international shot, there's that shot of Dr. Pershing looking at the Star Destroyer, and everybody's like, go watch the international one. It's got it's 0.01 second longer, But this is a bit of a difference. This is a bit of a bigger difference. But yeah, I mean, I think I agree with what you said. I think it could be one of two things. It's just to set up, hey, Toby, Andrew, and Tom are definitively Spider-Man, but so is this Miles. This Miles is just as much the cinematic Spider-Man for, countless people around the world as those three were. And so I think that you could say that those three clips were at the beginning of the trailer, like you said, to set up Miles. He even says it in the trailer. He goes, yeah, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do things my way. One of those great Miles lines, just like in the first one, like, it's just a leap of faith, Miles. Jake Johnson is so good in that movie. If we don't ever get him as a live-action Spider-Man, I don't know what we're doing. But also, I feel like after these few movies, I feel like Spider-Man might be done with the multiverse for a little while. Like, I don't know how many, unless it's like Secret Wars, but who knows. But I think it could go either way. But I genuinely do think that at the very least, I think that Tom Holland is in this movie. Whether that's a post-credit scene or what, I do think that Tom Holland is in this movie in particular. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But again, not that long of a wait. It's a nice little birthday gift for me. It comes out June 2nd, so I will definitely be checking this out. Opening Thursday night, absolutely there, day one. Can't wait for this one. Let's pivot over to something that we can watch at home, which actually comes out after Spider-Verse, which is about as far of a pendulum swing from Marvel's Multiverse and Spider-Verse saga as you can get, which is Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion. Again, I got a trailer reaction up for this one. A lot of people were losing their mind just over the poster. I know I sent you that poster. I thought at first that they were releasing character posters like that, and then I realized that's just the poster for the series. Like, Nick Fury is just so much of the focus that his face is literally just the poster. Which I thought was great. And then the trailer came out, definitively showed you this is the Nick Fury-led project that, we've all kind of been waiting for, hoping for one day to get. But, I feel like I've kind of talked this trailer to death. What were your overall thoughts on this? The mood, the tone, the cinematography, honestly. But how did it kind of hit you?
Yeah, I thought great trailer. Really excited for the show. Looks like Marvel maybe starting to get back into the swing of things, I'd say.
I love that. You get two bad projects. It's over! First trailer. We're back, baby.
We're back, yeah.
Literally, like...
It's, it looks really gritty, which I think is something that is long overdue for a Marvel movie that we haven't seen in a while. And yeah, it looks really good. I'm excited to get back into it. Hopefully it's good. Maybe this is Sam Jackson's last ride, possibly. Is Nick Fury?
Yeah,
I know. He said. I know he really likes playing the character. He said that.
I think he's.
It's just
I'll
like because his character's
Secret
like,
Wars.
one last mission, or something like
Yeah.
that. So I was like, oh, maybe. But yeah, like you said, maybe Secret Wars is where he's. He's done.
You know what? I just thought. I think you kill Nick Fury. I think you definitively kill Nick Fury at the end of Kang Dynasty. The way that sorry, my MCU mind is spinning. The way that Phil Coulson's death was the inciting incident of Avengers, I think that Nick Fury's death can be the inciting incident, because who's the one guy that links all the space people with Captain Marvel and the Guardians and Thor, all the Earth people with everybody? Who's the one linchpin of all of it? Is Nick Fury. He's the guy that if you killed him at the end of Kang Dynasty, that is going to galvanize everyone that they have at their disposal to go to war. Sorry, that's just, sorry. It was just like, that would be a great spot to definitively kill Nick Fury, would be, I feel like, the inciting incident for Secret Wars. But back to the trailer. How'd you feel about, got some great action in this, some looks at Martin Freeman, Colby Smulders, Rhodey,
Olivia
Don
Colman.
Cheadle, obviously,
Amelia
Clark, and Ben Mendelsohn, obviously, being, they described him as basically like the co-lead. Not a surprise, him and Talos obviously have a long, deep connection, both in Captain Marvel and in Spider-Man: Far From Home that we've seen. So yeah, what are you most hoping this show kind of fulfills for you? Like, is it just going back to that Winter Soldier kind of grittier vibe, or are you really excited to kind of knuckle down to who Nick Fury is as a person, or is it just kind of like the political intrigue and movings of the MCU for you?
I think it's really going back to the whole kind of political thriller espionage type thing in Winter Soldier. I think that looks really, really cool, as well as to maybe maybe we get a reveal of, oh my God, they were a Skrull the entire time. I don't know who, obviously I don't know who that would be.
I feel like when this show was announced, that was all anyone was talking about. Who's the Skrull? Who's the Skrull?
Right.
I haven't seen anybody talking about that because the trailer's so good about character work. You're like not even thinking about the the tagline of the show, which is, who do you trust? Who do you trust? Who do you think? Let's say out of the principal cast list. So let's call that Jackson, Freeman, Smulders, Mendelsohn. Well, we know Mendelssohn's a Skrull. But out of like main 10 people, let's say, let's throw in a Sharon Carter, let's throw in a Thunderbolt Ross, let's throw in a Rhodey. Who do you think? Who's gonna be the big kahuna here that's gonna be revealed? Not quite who they say they are.
I mean, I think honestly, I think it might be one of the newcomers. My first guess would be Olivia Colman. I feel like knowing nothing about her character, I don't even know who she's playing.
I think they just said she's playing the head of MI6.
Yeah, you said head, so
yeah.
So me thinking somebody up top infiltrating the like you said, MI6. I think that could be cool.
I'm throwing a name out there. We see him in a hallway. Let's see, where is he? He's got a hallway fight somewhere here. Right here. I'm thinking that might be SWORD. Maybe Hayward? Do we get Hayward back in the show? We haven't seen him in a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Hayward maybe is a Skrull. Do we get maybe Monica Rambeau in this? Because we know Amelia Clark's character is playing Talos' daughter, who we know in Captain Marvel had a bond with Monica as a kid. And obviously the end of WandaVision is a Skrull coming down to tell Monica that Nick Fury wants to speak with her. So we have not gotten any indication that Tiana Paris is in this show, but I mean, kind of everything that we've seen up to this point would point to that. Do you think that we're going to get her in this show, or maybe not?
I think it's definitely a possibility, just because, like what you said, it's kind of leading up to that point. And maybe just, again, to lead in, Marvel's is this year. So to kind of lead into that, that's a possibility. But if she's in it, maybe she's not that Maybe she's kind of, to the side a little bit. Maybe she's not.
Yeah, maybe she
that
pops
much
in
of a
for an
character.
episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, it looks brutal, everything like that. I'm interested to know what this kind of setup is that we're just looking at the trailer here. There's like, Nick Fury is in some sort of fist fight, and then there is these like purple kind of like looks like a containment field of some kind. I'm wondering if that maybe shuts down a Skrull's ability to transform or something, but very, very interesting stuff. And then why is Rhodey saying that he is the most wanted man in the world? What are all these bodies hooked up to all these machines that Emilia Clarke is looking at? Like, are these all the people that have been, taken and replaced? Lots of interesting stuff going on in this trailer, but I think I agree with you. It does look absolutely fantastic, just in terms of the scope of it, the look of it, the tone, everything like that. I think we're getting back to some real Marvel goodness. And also, it's important to note that June 21st, it will have been 9 months since our last Marvel Disney Plus show. Since She-Hulk ended to when that starts, it will be 9 months in between there. So, they're starting to do exactly what they said. They're taking their time. They're slowing stuff down. We're getting 2 series. Maybe What If, maybe X-Men 97, I think, are also going to come out this year. But 2 live-action series and 3 movies, and that's about it. So I think that's a comfortable spot for the MCU to be in. I think that's an understandable spot for them to be in and everything. But really, really like the look of the trailer and everything. But the next thing, the last trailer that we're going to talk about here is this Barbie trailer. Now, I know you got a chance to see the actual trailer, correct?
I did, yes.
All right. I have not yet, but obviously we can talk about it in a second here. But I don't know if you want to start the old record. Just let me know when you are ready.
I don't have this. I don't think I have it set up. Oh, no, I do.
Okay.
Well,
I can just record it too if you want.
Okay, just record it. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. If you'll bear with us 1 second. All right. Welcome back to the Planet Film Network. We are live right now on our show PFN Live Tuesday nights at 8:15, 8:30 p.m. depending on how quickly we get going here. But we are taking a look at the brand new trailer for Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig. Let's jump right into it. All right, so like I said, I have not seen this trailer. TJ has. I'm very excited to see Ncuti Gatwa hopefully get some play in this, Simu Liu, and then of course all the main people. But I just want to see what the hell this movie's about. So let's just jump right into this thing. Okay, Barbie Land. Okay, that was funny. That was pretty funny.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
Oh my lord.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
I love that they got Emma Mackey in this to literally look just like her.
I can.
All the Kens are in battle. Wow.
I thought I might stay over tonight.
Why?
Because we're girlfriend, boyfriend.
To do what?
I'm actually not sure.
Okay, that was funny. What is this? This looks fantastic. Is that Kate McKinnon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! Ah!
Yeah, zillion people this way.
I'm coming with you.
Did you bring your rollerblades?
I literally go nowhere without them.
Oh my god.
Now,
This
can
beach
you?
is a little too
Oh,
much beach for you, Ken.
If I wasn't severely injured, I would beat you off right now, Ken.
I'll beach off with you any day, Ken.
Anyone who wants to beach him off has to beach me off first.
I will beat both of you off at the same time.
Beats both of us off.
Nobody's gonna beach anyone off.
oh, Michael Cera.
As Alan.
Now, after watching that trailer,
Wow.
can you tell me what the movie's about?
Not at all.
Exactly.
I think that's the best part. I feel like it is so important to never lose the through line the fact that this movie is directed by Greta Gerwig and written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach.
Yeah, I didn't know he was co-writing it or whatever.
I didn't know that either until the first trailer. I was like, oh my god, like the guy who wrote Squid and Whale and Marriage Story is co-writing Barbie and Ken dialogue with a husband and wife pairing behind the camera. That is like so perfect. I mean, the movie, first of all, the movie looks fantastic. Second of all, I have no idea what it's going to be about. I'm assuming it's they go into the real world. But also it seems like they're all the Kens do not seem to get along. Or maybe it's just Simu Liu and Ryan Gosling not getting along. But I love that. That's awesome. I had no idea that Simu Liu was going to have like this big of a role in this. You know, I figured he was just going to be one of the other Kens, but it seems like he really does have a bigger role in this. We got a little bit of Ncuti Gatwa in there, a couple of the other Kens. We got Michael Cera as Alan, which I think is hilarious. Apparently, Alan was introduced as Ken's friend. Who can fit into all of Ken's clothes in the early 90s. But, you know, I just think that if these movies can tap into the wonderful Toy Story representation with Michael Keaton's Ken in the Toy Story movies, which is just always one of the best parts of those movies, is Michael Keaton as Ken in that, just being so like a scaredy cat, all that stuff. And it feels like Ryan Gosling really studied the Michael Keaton performance in those Toy Story movies and is really nailing it. But also, you know, I see Will Ferrell. I am intrinsically leaning towards, okay, he's going to be playing someone in the real world, only because that's exactly what happened in the Lego movie.
The Mattel CEO is who he's
that's what I heard too. So that'll be very, very interesting. Might be, you know, some weird stuff going on in this, but it just looks fantastic. And I saw somebody say, just like, obviously we know that this movie is a big commercial, but the fact that it's a big commercial that looks like it might actually be a movie too, incredible. Yeah. Sign me up for it. I mean,
I think with who wrote it and who directed it, I think it's obviously going to have some sort of
going to be an action movie.
Underlying, underlying, themes and stuff going on that's going to make you think at some point. Yeah. I have a lot of confidence that this will be a very good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I do. I just have a lot of confidence that this is going to be a great movie. That's like, there's your pull quote from the Planet Film Network. Now I gotta ask you, if you can only see one, who's getting your money on July 21st, 2023?
Oh, is it this and Oppenheimer, right?
Oh yeah.
Boy, and honestly, I might have to go with Barbie, just because Barbie is so out there. We have no idea what it is, you know.
Yeah. I think.
And Barbie's got the same heavy hitters as Oppenheimer.
I know, they both have like 40 different cast members. It's so funny. It's like, I feel like in a year from now, right, or less than a year from now, when the SAG Awards are gonna happen, people are gonna be like, well, the only two options for best ensemble is Barbie and Oppenheimer. Like, the only two options for that award came out on the same day. The two best casts in the entire year came out on the exact same day. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have to go with Barbie. I mean, I know that Oppenheimer is going to be an insane spectacle and everything like that, but this looks like it's going to be an insane spectacle too. I think it looks fantastic. But guys, that'll do it for the trailer reaction here. Let us know, what did you think of the brand new trailer for Barbie? Also, I just posted right now on our Twitter. Me and TJ have our own Barbie posters that you can check out. If you want your favorite PFN host as a Barbie poster. But use that Barbie poster generator, by the way. I love that they put that out and everybody's having so much fun with it. I love all the Andor ones. The Luthen one just absolutely killed me. But guys, let me know, what did you think of the trailer down below? And while you're down there, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this with a Barbie fan or a fan of Greta Gerwig or Noah Baumbach or Margot Robbie or whatever. All right. So, did you see some of the? Oh, I know I sent you a couple of those Barbie posters, but did you see like all the ones that everybody is just like taking over Twitter? of all the frickin' Barbie posters because they put out that free tool.
Yeah, I've seen some of them.
That's insane. Oh, what's this? Oh, sorry. All right. Oh, there you go. There you go.
What's the top caption? I can't read that.
It says, "This Barbie is mother."
Oh.
a lot of people loving Bo-Katan this year for a variety of reasons. I will say that. But Barbie movie looks incredible. But I don't know. What do you want to do here? Do you want to talk about? Well, all right. Let's talk about some of these reboot news stuff. I was gonna say, should we just skip the news
let's
stuff,
talk. Okay, so
we got to talk
real quick
because
we're getting again we're going kind of we started a little late. We're going kind of late. So let's just talk about the biggest reboot, I think, and then we could talk about Bad Batch real quick, and I think we could probably end it there.
Absolutely. Let's talk about this one and this one.
Okay.
You can go for it.
All right. So it was reported yesterday that Warner Brothers is looking to do a reboot of Harry Potter, all 7 books, with each book being a season.
On HBO Max.
Yes, and I think you kind of maybe, I would say you had mostly people vehemently against this, and maybe some people that were for it. Personally, we're on the same page here. We both don't want this. I think it's really kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And you made a point to me yesterday. It said, why don't you just expand the universe you already have instead of rebooting it? There's nothing wrong with movies. The movies are fantastic. Yeah. And again, even the worst one, Chamber of Secrets, isn't a bad movie. It's just not as good as the other ones. I think it's a terrible idea. I think they should be focusing on, again, expanding the universe a little bit more. Obviously, you have Fantastic Beasts, but it doesn't have to stop there. You can do anything other than that. I don't know. I just think it's a terrible idea. What do you think? I think these movies are just fantastic the way they are.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I see what you did there. I mean, the way that I look at it is absolutely. I mean, I texted you. What I said was, it's not DC or Marvel. It's not. You can't reboot these universes. The Harry Potter, the Wizarding world, is it's like Star Wars. It's you've made the world. Now you made the world so perfectly that everything that comes after it, you have to fit it in the same world. Like, they're not, I would love a Star Wars What If show. I would love a Harry Potter What If show. I mean, if that was something they could ever do, I would love that. Show me an episode where Neville is the chosen one instead of Harry, which almost happened. So, stuff like that. You could do a million different things with this franchise. But I saw this one tweet that was perfect, and it was just like, what are you gonna do? Are you you're gonna design and build a new Hogwarts? You're gonna design and build a new. You're gonna recast the Dursleys. You're gonna recast all of these people. Like, it's just the most idiotic. Like,
and just real quick, the last movie came out in 2011. It's not like these movies came out in 1950.
Yeah, I know. The first movie is only 20 years old.
Yeah,
the first one.
It's not that long ago.
It's just crazy to me.
I don't know.
And sure, the only positive. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I just feel like you could have come up with something. You could come up with something way better. Again, you had the game come out, which isn't really connected to the movies at all, from what I understand.
And where did that? Well, it could. I mean, it could be. It's basically it's as connected as the Fantastic Beasts movies are. It's like,
okay, yeah,
it's all loosely the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was I gonna say? The only positive that you could even say from this is, okay, doing it as a show. That's a great idea. If there was never a Harry Potter before, saying, hey, we're gonna adapt these 7 great books, and each book is gonna get 8 to 10 episodes per book. Beautiful. It's the Percy Jackson approach that Disney's doing right now, and by all accounts of people that have seen early cuts of that show and have been on set, they're doing great stuff over there. That's the way to do it. We've seen it with Last of Us, is when you have these stories that are bigger and longer and everything, they can't fit into 2 hours. That being said, Harry Potter is one of the single greatest movie franchises ever made. It just is. I mean, it's like the third most monetarily successful franchise ever made, and not to mention the fan love, the fan appreciation, the Warner Brothers appreciation. I mean, that franchise carried Warner Brothers all through the 2000s. Yes, there was still superhero movies. Absolutely, they were doing that. There was the Batman movies and everything like that. Not to say that it was all Warner Brothers had, but that carried the movie. Really, that the 2000s, the Harry Potter movies really carried that. And before we saw the big superhero boom in the late 2010s and everything, we had all those Divergent, Hunger Games. It started this whole young adult boom that really was kind of second, like, what are the two biggest entities in Hollywood? Superhero movies and then these YA adaptations for the longest time, where like these Twilight, you know, the list goes on. But not only to mention that, like somebody said, you have theme parks. You have a life-size replica, not the whole castle, but you have a life-size replica of Hogwarts from those movies. What are you going to do in a reboot? Are you just going to put it in the same castle with different actors? Then what the hell is the point? Like, it sounds like, you know...
Do you think this is a
yes,
side
I do.
effect?
Yes, I do.
What am I going to say?
Yes, I do.
What am I going to say?
Do you think this is a side effect of either A, her being a terrible person, and more specifically...
Yeah.
all the trans rights things, and then more specifically, Daniel Radcliffe being outspoken against her, so she wants to cut him out of this whole thing, and also the fact that that news story came out last week that was like J.K. Rowling's revenue streams are down like 74%.
Oh, I didn't even see that. That's not even what I was thinking.
Last week. Oh, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, I wonder if it's part of... They tried to get them for Cursed Child to do a thing, and they were like, no. And they're like, well, fine, we'll just fucking redo the whole thing.
Yes, I also think that.
Yeah.
I also think that. I think that they said, do you want to come back? And they said no. And like I also texted you, I said, then you fucking wait. If Daniel Radcliffe says, no, I don't want to play Harry Potter right now.
But hey, 5 years maybe I'll want to do it.
Yeah, you don't go,
Fine.
well, you know, all right, then fuck you. We're rebooting the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, why would you, like, if you know, if the prequels instead, if George wanted to make the sequels in the 90s, you know what I mean? Like, and they went to Harrison Ford, oh, you ready to play Han again? And he said no. You're not going to go, all right, no problem, man. We'll get David Duchovny. Like, what? Like, that's not, you can't do that. These characters and the actors, and also just how hypocritical is it of Warner Brothers, and how kind of, is it, it might be going too far to say that, but it just feels like ungrateful. It's like, you know how much this franchise emotionally means to, like, yes, the books and everything, but the film franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, you put out a documentary about the 20th anniversary. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you have this, all this emotion. Like, I'm just thinking, like, you're never going to get anyone to play Hagrid the way that, the way that he played him. Yeah, the way that Robbie Coltrane played him. You're never going to get, you had two fantastic Dumbledore, three fantastic Dumbledores, because I think Jude Law's great as that character too, but you've cast Dumbledore perfectly 3 times. Why are you even pushing your luck to do a fourth? I don't understand that at all.
I think if they do this does end up happening, I think they will realize that it's not, it won't be, I don't think they'll get the viewership that they maybe think they'll get.
No. And that's the thing, is that I just don't understand. I just don't, first of all, to put out, and granted, you have to take it with a grain of salt of, it's the same thing as the Star Wars thing. Warner Brothers never came out and said, hey, we are doing 7 years of a television show rebooting Harry Potter. This is all just reporting at this time. You have to acknowledge that. But that being said, the boldness and I'll say kind of the pig-headedness to come out and say right now, hey, we don't have anyone cast, we don't have anything written, we don't have any of this or that, but we are going to turn all 7 of these books into 7 years of television. We're going to think about how logistical of a nightmare it was to lock down all those cast members for the 10 years that they did. They're going to do that again? Oh man, I'm thinking about all the side characters. Like, you're going to get somebody that's not Gary Oldman to play Sirius Black. You're going to get not David Thewlis to play Lupin. You're going to get somebody different to play Arthur Weasley. It's not just about the core 3. Like, I don't think they understand how much of a Herculean, almost impossible task. This is more impossible than John Wick's impossible task that got him out of the business. You know what I mean? This is more impossible than that. It just feels foolish to me. That's what it feels. And if I'm honest with myself, and I guess I'll ask you this to end the Harry Potter talk here. I actually don't even think this is going to happen. I just think that they're going to – I think that they're going to – it's going to be development hell. And I think that they're just going to realize that logistically it makes no sense. It just makes no sense. And like you said, were the Fantastic Beasts movies like this incredible hit? No. But guess what? If you went, hey, guess what? Eddie Redmayne was a fantastic part of this franchise. Those failures were not in any way his fault. But we're stripping things back, and we're going to give you a trilogy called The Great War with Mads Mikkelsen and Jude Law. As you're going to see it. Here we go. We're in World War II, baby. You know, we love Jacob and everything, but their story closed with Jacob's wedding at the end of the 3rd one, which I thought was a beautiful ending. And then you have that. I think that movie that you have, the 3rd Fantastic Beasts, which is easily the best of the 3, you end it. You get Jacob, all the Fantastic Beasts characters. He gets married. They're all, happily ever after, so to speak. And then you get Dumbledore walking off by himself. Perfect setup to continue that in its own thing and give us the showdown that we've heard so much about. But instead they do this. Like, I just don't... Just focus on what you have and make it better. That's really all you have to do. You don't see Marvel having these strings of failures and going, blow it all up, we're resetting the universe. You know what I mean? They're like, no, let's ground it. Let's bring in some better writers. Let's do this and that. And I think that's all you have to do. And I just hope that at some point they realize this, because it's really, it's easily some of the most frustrating news out of Hollywood that I think I've ever heard. Like, when I saw it, I hoped it was April 1st.
You can go years before Fantastic Beasts if you want to. I'm sure
I love that idea about Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is what you should be making a series on HBO Max. Get that, and also you can kind of do whatever you want. You could make the main character female because the main character is customizable in the game. So, we don't really know who canonically the main character would be. So you kind of have an open playbook to really kind of make the character whoever you want to be. And you have this long, winding, beautiful story that they created for Hogwarts Legacy. And it's like, if they can make this incredible story without the need for J.K. Rowling, because that's the other elephant in the room, is that, they said, well, she won't be the showrunner, but she will be heavily involved. Like, read the room, man. That lady is, say what you will about her, her image is toxic to anything that she's a part of. There's just so much working against this, but I don't know. Do you have anything to say before we move on?
Take some of this art that I've seen on TikTok a little bit, as well as on Twitter I'm looking at right now. Make a Harry Potter show or something, but not Harry Potter like specific, like any type of show. Make it Studio Ghibli style.
I did see somebody say, like, this could be a good idea as an animated thing. Now that...
But even that, it's like, why are you doing that? What's the point?
100%. Like, I would be less, I'll say, irate. I would be less irate if it was an animated project, because then you could say, hey, the movies are there. That's the universe that we are building. Nothing is touching those. But we're making this animated project to really bring everything the books have to offer to a wider audience. We're going to bring, put Peeves back in it. We're going to put, Tonks and Remus's kid back into the last one. Like, that would be one thing. That would be one way to angle it to not be so terrible, is to say, hey, we're doing the faithful book adaptations and they're going to live as an animated series. Wonderful. But to say, because then it also, like, you have everything that we've just said working against it, but then also just the sheer fact of its existence, you're basically saying, oh, those movies didn't do it well enough, which is not the case. Those movies are incredible. Like, it's just crazy to me. We have to move on because...
Yeah, and again, if this came out, 100 years ago or whatever, I'd say, okay, fine.
If it had been 40 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it had been 40 years, perfect. It just makes no sense to me. But moving on here, before we get to... I want to end on a good news story, so let's go with kind of a bunk news story here real quick. Another terrible idea from the Hollywood machine that we got this year. Another stroke to The Rock's ego. They are apparently doing a live-action remake of Moana with the original cast reprising their roles. And again, that movie is 8 years old. So I don't really know what the hell they're thinking on that, but what were your thoughts when you saw that?
I still haven't seen Moana. I know people really like it. I know it's a great movie. I believe it won Best Animated.
I think so, maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
But either way, huge success, yeah.
Huge success. But I think maybe we wait till Little Mermaid comes out. Maybe we just hold on a second on the live action remake. I know Disney. I know you love doing them. You love money in your pocket, but they don't have that great of a track record, if we're all being honest. So maybe we hold off. Hold off.
And also, I just feel like too, it's like, I don't know, man. Ever since everything that went down with everything the past few months, I just see The Rock differently now than I ever did. Like, it's just, first of all, I mean, I will say unabashedly, I think one of the I'll say loves of my life, right up there with Florence Pugh herself, is I always mess up her name, but the girl who plays Moana. Who has been in a bunch of other stuff, too, that's great, by the way. Darby versus the Dead, I really enjoyed her on that. That was on Hulu earlier this year. She's going to be reprising the role of Moana. You wouldn't know it based on the video announcing this, which was just The Rock on a beach talking about how much Hawaii and family means to him. And it's like, yeah, we get how much Hawaii and family means to you, okay? Like, I think we all get that at this point. Like, and he's just like, so we're really excited to bring this. This is the same guy that, mind you, a month ago was at the Oscars saying animation is a medium and it needs to be preserved and nourished. But here he is, a month later saying, yeah, rather than doing a Moana sequel and helping the animation genre by giving a great sequel, we're just gonna remake it because, not enough people saw it the first time. And like you said, with the Little Mermaid thing and everything, can you name me one of these Disney live-action remakes that is the definitive version over the animated one?
No.
There you go. Not to mention everything we just said. The two best examples and the two movies that literally you're just leaving money on the table. How do you go to Moana and not go to Atlantis and Treasure Planet? Those two are two of the most prime candidates actually in need of a remake because actually not enough people saw the original. Beautiful concepts for storytelling, world building in both of those franchises. And you're just not even using what you have. Like, you know what I mean? Those are two options where you could genuinely make something better than the original. But instead they choose to do these stupid offshoots. I will never understand it. But either way, last news here to end on something positive is we've talked about it. We've been tracking the success of a little movie called Puss in Boots: The Last Wish for almost 5-6 months now at this point. Mm-hmm. It has absolutely been dominating at the box office. Really the only kids animated movie. I mean, it's been out for 5 months and we're still playing it 6 times a day at my theater.
Wow.
And people are still buying tickets for it and everything. It is just because really until Mario, if you look at it, there was the big budget animated kids movie in Puss in Boots, and the next one was not until Mario. So it really had a lot of time to gather, and it has its almost $500 million. We said, what is the likelihood that this immense success, not only financially but critically and audience perception-wise, that this movie is just incredible. It was nominated for Best Animated Film at the Oscars. We said, what are the likelihoods that this will lead to an inevitable Shrek 5? Then you also had Eddie Murphy coming out saying recently, of course I would do a Shrek 5. You had Cameron Diaz returning to acting after she had retired for like 5 or 6 years. Mike Myers returning to acting. So it kind of felt like all the stars were aligning. And today, just a couple hours ago, they announced 100% at Illumination and DreamWorks, they are moving forward with the entire original cast returning for Shrek 5. So it's going to be Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, Antonio Banderas, and, you know, probably everyone else as well. But what are your thoughts on this Shrek 5 officially happening, which I believe they said 2025, so that would be 14 years between Shrek movies, which is crazy. But what are your thoughts on this? Are you over the moon?
I'm not over the moon because I like Shrek. I don't love it. I don't even think I've seen all of them, honestly. But I do like the ones I have seen. But yeah, it's exciting. I gotta get on this Puss in Boots roll. Everybody loves this movie. I need to see it. But no, it's exciting to hear.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Very, very excited for this. Let me jump over to chat, and then we will end off with some quick Bad Batch thoughts here. We got Molly in the chat said that she's seen... Oh, going all the way back. We said... Molly said, I've seen all the Resident Evils, and they're very good. There you go.
Oh, all right.
Mila is amazing. Then she said Sean Kate Beckinsale.
Mila always gets... just real quick, she always gets roped into these video game movies. She was in Monster Hunter as well. That came out, I think, a year or two ago, which I don't know how good that was, but it seems like she has a track record of doing those.
Interesting. Yeah, she's got to get out of that bubble. We got to get her back in like a Fifth Element type role for her.
See, I'm not the biggest Fifth Element guy. Everybody likes that movie.
You don't like Gary Oldman's hair in that movie?
No.
He looks. You know who Gary Oldman looks like in that movie? He looks like Roman Roy. He looks like Kieran Culkin in Succession.
Here, real quick. She was in Monster Hunter in 2020, and then she was in, unfortunately, I feel bad for her, she was in Hellboy. The
David Harbour one?
Yes.
Oh, was she Baba Yaga? Was she the witch?
She was the Blood Queen.
Oh.
That movie's bad. Whew.
Wasn't Daniel Day Kim in that as like a tiger cop or something?
I don't remember anything about it. I just remember sitting down saying, "Oh, David Harbour," you know.
I remember there was a house with chicken legs.
Ian McShane. Oof. Tough.
Oh man, you're killing me reading that cast off.
Yeah,
real quick here, Ballerina got an official release date. I believe it is my birthday. I think it was June. Oh no, it might not be, but I think it's June 7th. 2024. So just over a year we'll get that. We found out a little bit ago that it's already filmed. You know, somebody that I didn't know is in that and apparently has a huge role is Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus is apparently like the co-lead in that movie. That's good for him. I don't know how he has the time between the Death Stranding games, all the Walking Dead spin-offs, and then filming a John Wick movie. All right, real quick here. So Kate Beckinsale was the wife in Click. That's right. Okay, yeah. She was also in Van Helsing, Pearl Harbor, and Total Recall. That one. There you go. That's on me. Those are 3 fantastic movies. Mario doesn't have. This is Michelle said. Mario doesn't have an Italian accent. Ugh. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying, you know, you really just forget about it. Like people. I have really got to give him, as they say, got to give him his flowers. People are really praising Chris Pratt for being great in this. I mean, the guy's, you know, he put up a little April Fool's joke that he was going to be playing Mickey Mouse next, which I thought was funny. But, like, you know, the guy's a great voiceover actor. I mean, the Lego movies, you know, so I'm excited for it. But excited for Secret Invasion. Got to have some more Talos. Definitely excited to get more Talos for sure. He's a great character. Anyone that has had a Barbie will totally get this. No to the Harry Potter reboot. Right there with you for sure. The idea of quick reboots is such a thorn in my side. Come up with new content. Stop regurgitating Classics, yeah, absolutely. And then Michelle also said yes to Shrek 5. Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of tough though because the fourth movie is called Shrek: The Final Chapter, so kind of lied to us, if I'm being honest. Kind of lied to us. Not sure how I feel about that. All right, let's finish off here. Let's talk about some real depressing shit, which is, if you have not seen The Bad Batch Season 2, we are just probably going to spend about 10 minutes on this and then head out here. So full spoilers for The Bad Batch Season 2, but just to kind of set things up here, we, one second, sorry. So just to kind of set things up here, I know that around the midpoint of the season, TJ was kind of falling, not off, but falling behind in being caught up on it. I myself was feeling a little lost with what we were doing, kind of treading water, but I'm not one of these people that, oh, it's all filler. I know well enough now with Star Wars animated shows that, you know, everything's important. At some point, things will come up. Classic example that we'll talk about a little bit later, but one of the earlier episodes this year, why are we watching a whole episode about Tech being a race car driver? Well, maybe because it's to set up the fact that Tech, for once in his life, felt appreciated for something other than killing people. And I wonder why that would be important, to pay attention to Tech's psychological state. Let's start off, because I feel like the last time we really talked about this, let's start at the episode Metamorphosis, which really is, or sorry, not Metamorphosis, the episode The Outpost, which was really where this show kind of kicked it into high gear with these last 5 episodes. So we got this beautiful Crosshair episode with him and Commander Mayday at this Imperial outpost, which really saw, and again, this is full spoilers, which really saw Crosshair finally kind of break down and realize that no matter what he does, the Empire is just not going to give him the satisfaction and the approval that he seeks. And he just snaps and kills Nolan at the end of that episode after the absolutely devastating death of Mayday. Just that episode is so beautiful, with starting out of, you know, him, Crosshair, saying to Mayday, like, why would you go back for a man that's already died? Or why, you know, he's just dead weight. And then the episode ending with Crosshair literally carrying Mayday on his back. We then find out, even though Mayday had already died, carrying him on his back through a literal avalanche, which wipes away Crosshair's Imperial helmet. Amazing symbolism right there. And then seeing that bird, like, everything about that episode was just so fantastic, of him just kind of realizing, I really fucked this up. And then we were kind of building to this finale. We then checked back in with the Bad Batch of them finding this beautiful place of Pabu, maybe a place for them to potentially settle down, form a new life. But then, you know, we started kind of gearing in this direction of maybe we are going to go and get Crosshair. And then when Echo came back and Crosshair sent out the message warning them that they were looking for Omega, we really were like, man, we are ramping up. This finale is going to be this awesome. We're going to break Crosshair out of Mount Tantus. The show is, maybe it's only a 2-season show and it's going to end. We're going to save Crosshair from Mount Tantus. Everybody's going to come back and live on Pabu for the rest of their life. Happy days. And then none of that happened, and multiple people died, and it ended on one of the most Empire Strikes Back level downers that I think that Star Wars has had in a long time. So just that kind of groundwork laid out. How did you feel about the season overall, and then how did you kind of feel about this absolutely insane back half of the season?
Yeah, I thought the season overall was good. I thought it had some dips. I felt like, you know, every so often we'd have like a really strong episode, and then, you know, next episode or two would be kind of lulls. But I thought they really finished strong at the end with, obviously, like you said, starting with that Crosshair episode. The Pabu episode was, you know, I was kind of in and out of that one a little bit, but then I really started to come back the last 3, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, you know, I'm looking forward to season 3. I liked what they kind of set up at the end of this season.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see where it goes, but at the same time, I am a little confused just the way it ended, because I had said to you, I go, I
Let's
don't
talk about it,
really
yeah.
know. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with that information.
Oh, you
and
mean
I
just
saw-
the very ending?
Just the very ending.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure what and I saw somebody on Twitter that, I think it was like while I was watching the episode or something, somebody in like one of the threads, because it was the episode was being tweeted about, and somebody was like, the that reveal at the end isn't the flex that Lucasfilm thinks it is. Like, it's not like it to us. It's really just like, okay, like, I don't know why this matters.
Yeah.
Like, we could have gone without her revealing that she's her sister, and we would have been fine.
I think to hit on that real quick, and then I will circle back and talk about obviously the elephant in the room of what happens in the finale. I do think that it was kind of a weird beat to end it on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would
Especially
have
because
just
we don't
been...
really know who that lady is, that she is. She's like a scientist, and it's like, okay.
And there was some people thinking that maybe she would be like maybe Dr. Pershing's mother or something like that.
Oh,
I
okay,
thought that could be interesting too. But I think that it was kind of a weird, like, because the ending was beautiful as it was, which was them bringing Omega into Tantus, seeing Nala Se being like, why are you bringing? What do you need her here for? Like, thinking they were going to experiment on her, but they're like, no, she's just here to make sure that you work, and if you don't work, then we will torture her. Like, that was a cool moment with Nala Se, and then we just got some super dark exterior shots of Mount Tantus, and then all of a sudden we cut back into Mount Tantus, and then get that moment of like, oh, it's so weird that you trust him but not me when I'm your sister, and then takes off the goggles, and you're like, it's Omega with brown hair, like, and then it just ended. I will say, I don't think that they were like, oh my god, this is gonna blow everyone's minds.
Right,
This is the best reveal ever. But I do think it was a little like tacked on feeling.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think that definitely did feel tacked on. But everything before that, I mean, how'd you feel? We got the first episode of the finale, the summit. We got some great. First of all, I love when Tarkin's in this show, because this is just the most kind of in his bag. Tarkin feels like he's really feeling himself. He's kind of running whatever he wants to. Palpatine and Anakin are out there kind of busy doing their own little shenanigans with some Sith stuff. So I feel like he's really making sure all these projects are running. We get a little Orson Krennic appearance with actual Ben Mendelsohn, and Alex Damon over at Star Wars Explained always points out that whenever you see a fully polished character model on somebody, they never do that for just a one-off. So I feel like maybe we'll be getting more of Krennic, maybe more of Tarkin in season 3. Yeah, how'd you kind of feel about the whole Saw Gerrera thing? Because that's kind of launched into its own little discourse online of people saying, like, the people that are saying that they're mad at Saw Gerrera, like, you're missing the point. I like to push back on that a little bit. I think that the whole point is that Saw Gerrera is doing what he thinks is right.
Right,
but he's getting hollow victories. You know what I mean? Like, Tech says to him, and I love that it is Tech that says to him, what do you think's going to happen here? First of all, they're going to be so protected, you're not going to take out Tarkin. Even if you do take out Tarkin, Tech says right to him, he goes, if you take out Governor Tarkin, they're just going to replace him with somebody else.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like, so he blows that operation, and then he directly leads. And I know people are like, well, he doesn't directly lead to his death. It's the stormtroopers. And it's like, yeah, but why were they in that position to hightail it out of there as fast as they did? Because Saw blew it up while the Bad Batch were still in there. Like, you know what I mean? He just had no care for that. But so what are your kind of thoughts on Saw Gerrera's role here? And then we'll end off. What are your thoughts on everything that happened with Tech in general?
Yeah, I thought it was nice to see that character again. I don't even remember last time we saw it. Was he in season
the last
one at
one,
all?
The first episode. Remember,
Okay,
their
so
very
was,
first mission was they went to Tarkin told them to go kill Saw Gerrera, and they didn't.
Got it. It was nice to see him again. I would say, yeah, I don't know if you can I don't know if you can blame. I guess you can, because again, he does blow it up. They kind of try to talk him out of it too, like you said, and he just kind of goes through with it.
Listen.
Right, won't listen. And it obviously led to that untimely death, unfortunately. But yeah, I think he's kind of just stuck in his,
loop.
And yeah, it doesn't really like. It's kind of all for nothing because, like you said, even if you do all this stuff, you blow it up, everything. It's like they're just gonna rebuild it.
Yeah, they're gonna rebuild it. They're gonna replace him. Like the only thing that would have made a difference is if like Galen Erso was there. Okay, if you take out Galen Erso, yeah, they're pretty fucked on the Death Star.
Fine, yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
What do they call? Sorry, real quick. What did they call the Death Star? They call it like
Project Stardust.
Oh, is that what it was?
Stardust, yeah, because remember that was his nickname for Jin, and so that was how she knew he was like the file would be Project Stardust.
What was the Cinder in Battlefront 2?
Operation Cinder, yeah.
Cinder, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Man, see, I love that stuff. Like I replayed for the 5 hours it takes you. I replayed the Battlefront 2 campaign the other day. That was something I didn't touch on at all, and I have been playing games like a lot. Like I have been playing video games like more than I have in the last few months, like crazy, ever since Hogwarts Legacy. But yeah, I love that whole realm of it. And then also, sorry, just I will always get myself distracted. Just the Operation Cinder shout out, that beautiful Bill Burr scene from Mando season 2. Remember when he was at Operation Cinder and that guy's like, yeah, Operation Cinder, we really got them, man. And that like Bill Burr's just like, the tension in his face is just ratcheting up, and then he just blows him away. Like a moment like that is really what works in this universe of like naming, like giving a little shout out to something like Operation Cinder. But yeah, how did you feel kind of about Tech's death and how it kind of came about, the way that it was kind of done and everything like that, and what do you think it kind of means going forward? And most importantly, do you think that he is truly dead? I mean, we get, which by the way, also can we talk about Hemlock? I feel like we haven't talked about Hemlock at all, you and I together. Great villain to replace Rampart. Yeah. I think that he is Jimmy Simpson from Westworld, a bunch of other stuff voices him. So like they really brought in like an actual actor to bring this guy to life. And somebody said that he looks like evil Jeremy Renner, and now I can't unsee that anytime I see him. But like, yeah, how do you feel about all this stuff? Hemlock throwing his goggles at him, saying this is all we could scrape up. And just I mean, I don't know about you, man. I don't know if you were as locked in as I was. I was in tears. I was like, this is straight up the worst Star Wars death for me since like Kanan. Because it was just so unexpected. It was like, oh, we're getting everybody back together. JK, one of them died. Like, I was like, oh, my God. And then the train car and everything. But what did you kind of think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was really sad. I wasn't in tears, but and I saw something, too. It's like, well, they were very much putting an emphasis on him as a character throughout the season.
Yeah.
So, obviously, something.
It's one of those things that as soon as it happened, you're like, okay, yep, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
It's like, man, they're really making Tech the focus this year. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And he had a lot of great moments in this season. And I would want to say that he is dead just so it can stay and, be something of, again, I hate to say it, like, so it means something, but I feel like you would just kind of have to leave him be dead. Again, that thing fell on him. Like, I don't know how you're surviving that.
Because that's the thing. He hit, and then it hit him.
Right.
Like, oof.
Yeah. And even, like, when Rampart, right? No. Yeah, when he comes in their last episode.
Sorry, yeah.
Hemlock, and they're looking for them. They find them. He's like, oh, here's the goggles that you're looking for, and it's his guy. I was like, oh my God. So I would imagine they found him, but maybe they like have him. Maybe you see him later in like some sort of tube or whatever. I don't know.
So my theory is, and first of all,
now the more I talk about it, maybe he does come back in some way.
all I'll say is, to keep it kind of light spoilers, I'm not going to spoil what I'm talking about, but just the fact that we lost 2 legends in 1 week that week. It was pretty rough, especially the live action one and the animated one. But yeah, so the more I've thought about, so if we had done this review like a week ago, like I was originally going to be like, oh, maybe we'll do a separate video for this, but I honestly have watched the episode like 5 times. I was like, just like I watched Kanan's death over and over again just to feel, the hurt again. I've been watching this, and the more I look at it, the more I do think that Hemlock is up to something, because he goes, this is all we could scrape up of him. I don't believe that for a second. What I'm thinking now, remember that assassin droid that tried to take out Rex and Chuchi in the Coruscant episodes? Or not assassin droid, sorry, the assassin clone that Rex was like, his CT number has been stripped. I didn't even know you could do that. And we were very worried that Crosshair was going to get turned into that. I'm starting to think more and more. I think that Omega and Crosshair maybe get out. I think that they're going to turn, if they did recover Tech's body, I think they're going to turn Tech into a mindless assassin thing. Because you think that it would be Crosshair, because that's what makes sense, is he's the hard ass, that they're going to turn into that and everything. But I think if they do bring Tech back, I think that they're going to make him unrecognizable type of thing. But what do you think if they were to bring him back? And do you think they're going to bring him back?
The more I talk about it, I think they will. Again, I think they're really leaning into the whole kind of more, and obviously they're clones already, but leaning more into the snow clone type thing, that whole thing.
And in Mando, Pershing said just from one genetic strand. So literally all they need is like a finger, and they could bring him back if they wanted to.
I think they will bring him back, and I think you could be on the right track. I think they use him against him. I think maybe we gain Crosshair back, but then we lose Tech probably. Yeah. Somewhere along those lines.
Yeah, and I will say the last thing I just want to touch on is I think that they did a really excellent job. I was sad to see Echo take a step back after the mid-season. He left the show in essence. I mean, he was gone for like 8 weeks. But I think that really, because a lot of the big criticism of the first one was, why do you have Tech and Echo? Like, they really kind of serve the same thing. Yeah, like, so I think that kind of separating them really gave Tech a great moment to shine. So I'm really excited that we're going to have Echo now back. And also, the fact, one of the biggest criticisms of the end of the first season is, yes, we lost Camino, super emotional, great, but the show kind of ended with status quo, and this season opened with the status quo of they're just out doing missions. Now you cannot say that, because Omega's gone, Crosshair's gone, Tech is dead, Echo is destroyed, Wrecker is physically destroyed. I mean, it looks like he broke his neck. He had that huge collar on. And then you get that great, kind of Joel Miller monologue from Hunter, where he is like gritting his teeth and saying, I will move, I will kill anyone I have to get her back. So I think that we're in for a darker, just like all the animated Star Wars shows do. They always get darker the more the seasons progress. They always have done that, and I think that we are in store for maybe Bad Batch Season 3 being the darkest season of Star Wars animation that we've gotten so far. So really excited to see that, but those are some of our thoughts on the Bad Batch Season 2. So thank you guys for joining us. Let us know what you guys thought of the Bad Batch Season 2 in the comments down below. And while you're down there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. All right, and also, that will do it for this week's episode of PFN Live. Real quick, because I just realized that we never talked about it. Ted Lasso, I'm caught up on it. Absolutely fantastic. Season has been going great so far. Boo Nate, absolutely. Also, I kind of like Boo Zava. Like, that guy, I don't know if I'm vibing with him yet, but I was like, why does he look so fucking familiar to me? He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was in 30 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as one of the like main agents. I was like, why does this guy look so familiar, but like he looks wrong? Is because when he was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was just like an American guy with blonde hair, and he was like a pilot.
Just real quick, the idea that they get one, and I get he's great striker. Don't get me wrong, I get it, he's great. But I think the idea, but the idea that they would get this one great player and then they just like tear through the entire league. Yeah. Little, even the worst team in the league, you get Messi or you get Ronaldo, they're not gonna take out the top dogs. Yeah, they're not gonna. And I get it's only 6 games in, I think, at this point or something like that. So we'll see. I don't know, but this is the week. It's already out. The episode's out, so I'm gonna go watch it.
I'm watching it right after this. Boom.
Taking on West Ham, and I saw like something on TikTok too, which I guess was last season. I've been seeing a lot of clips of Nate's, like a Nate montage, like, oh, people, I hate Nate, blah blah blah. And I saw the montage of when he's like pouring his heart out to Ted or something, and why he is the way he is now. And I was like, is this from? I forgot it was the last season. I was like, where's everybody getting this clip from? I was like, is this from the episode that's coming out like now, like tomorrow? But I guess it was from season 2. So I was like,
yeah, it was when he like, because he has that like big blow up at him because he's like, you've been treating me like shit, and Ted's like, what? Yeah. Like, what are you like? Why haven't you talked to me? Like, of course, like, because Nate's just so in his own head. And then I love that scene in the first episode of the season where he's at his table, his big fucking table that he had to get the fucking table. Yeah. I need the table by the fucking window. And then, well, there you go. Now you're sitting at the table and the window, and you're all fucking alone. So
right. Last thing, real quick. Do you think Trent Krim is going to like
out him?
Out I don't know that. Yeah. Do you think that's gonna? I don't think so. I think he's a good guy. I think he knows like what.
I think that they're definitely going to. First of all, let me just comment on, because if anything, to quote John Wick 2, if anything has been watered down, how much Trent Krim is in the show now. I love that they just that he's like, I'm writing a book about Richmond, so wink wink, I'm gonna be in every episode now. Like all right, perfect. I love that. One of my favorite characters on the whole show, maybe my favorite. I like to think he's a good guy. I don't think he's going to, but I definitely think. I mean, obviously, it was the cliffhanger kind of end scene of the last episode. I think he's maybe going to save the information for himself. I think he's going to have an internal conflict about it. Maybe go to someone for advice, and then I do feel like maybe it'll cause some sort of conflict. But I don't think that he's going to out him, because that's like villainous. That would be like that would be like.
They're kind of
heinous.
building him up as not a villain at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're really kind of, because they have the little Roy tells nobody to talk to him, but then they resolve that in one episode. So it was like I think it's just gonna be, maybe he's gonna be conflicted about what to do, but I think he'll choose to do the right thing. But that will do it for us, guys. Little Ted Lasso talk to top it all off, and both of us are gonna go watch that episode right now. Most likely tonight, I will have I'll post my thoughts about Ted Lasso. Maybe I'll do kind of a quick recap on how I felt about the season so far as well. But thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of PFN Live. Let us know down below, what are your thoughts on Succession Season 4, Bad Batch Season 2, everything we talked about. Why are they rebooting Harry Potter? Let's, open it up, get into it. Well, tell us what you want. We got Barry Season 4 coming up here, The Boys Season 4 coming up in just a little bit here. So tons of TV and everything that we are going to be covering for the entire rest of the year. We've still got Mandalorian that we'll be talking about and everything. That drops today as well, so keep an eye out for my review for that in the morning. But that'll do it for me. I've been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. That'll do it for me.
I've been another host, TJ Cornwall. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about any of the topics below. Follow us on our social medias, and we will see you next time.